Good day, my fellow gamers and non-gamers. This is Drist, and I am playing Shroud of the Avatar, spiritual successor to Ultima Online. And my in-game name is Shurtugal, and I am standing outside of Brittany's Fields and Brittany Central and all the whole Brittany alleys, all the Brittany's. I'm standing right outside of them. And I am going to show you what a typical day in Shroud of the Avatar is for me. Now, if you look up here, you can see I've got a significant amount of Grandmasters. So I've been playing this for a fair amount of time, and but not as long as one might think if you look at the Grandmasters, because it's nothing to scoff at to get Grandmasters. It takes a little bit of doing to get them up there. And so while I have played a significant amount of game time, it's not as much as one might think looking at the Grandmasters here, but I'm very efficient as far as how I use my time. And I'm going to explain a little bit of that today. So I'm going to start off by breaking open the skills window here. And we have two categories here, which I've explained before in a previous video: adventuring and crafting. And for the adventuring, it's basically just fighting stuff and killing stuff, and you gain the experience to go into your pool, and then you decide what you want to train, and you make sure you don't train too much because you want more going into your pool than is coming out. I've explained all that in a previous video too. And then, of course, on the crafting side, you have your resource gathering, which is like mining and tree harvesting and stuff, which all that feeds directly into the refining, because you would refine the stuff that you've gathered into more specific items, which are then used to create stuff here. And you can create a nice synergy with all of this stuff if you're very efficient with your time, which means when you're out there fighting and killing stuff, and you're gaining your experience pool here and training stuff here, at the same time you can be collecting specific things here that are going to be refined here to be building stuff there, and etc., etc. And me, I decided early on I wanted to be able to craft my own gear. I didn't want to have to buy a high-end piece of armor set or sword or whatever the case may be from somebody else. I wanted to be able to do it myself. And at first I was thinking I wanted to be a full mage. So full mage has to be tailoring, because, you know, the cloth armor and stuff. So, you know, that meant collecting cotton to build the stuff. Collecting the cotton, which was foraging, which was then used to refine into the using the textiles into the cotton things, the spools of cotton thread, which is then used to make armor, which will then feed up my tailoring here. So obviously what you're doing is you're out running around killing stuff, which is building experience pool here, and at the same time when you come across the little cotton plants, you're collecting the cotton and blah blah blah. And then I quickly realized that tailoring was not the path for me, so blacksmithing was my path. I'm currently wearing chain armor, which meant I wanted to be able to craft my own chain armor, so I had to change my whole game plan, my whole approach. And also, to be truthfully honest, under tailoring, I didn't harvest all the cotton I needed. I grew a lot, because about halfway through getting this up here, I got my hands on a deed, which allowed me to put up a piece of property, which allowed me to grow a lot of cotton, and that really accelerated this up. But the principle is still the same. You gather the cotton, which is allows you to increase the experience here, and then you refine that cotton, which allows you to increase the experience here, and then you use that cotton to build armor, which allows you to increase the experience here. So anyways, when I switched over to blacksmithing, I had to change the resource I was gathering, which I'm now mining, right? And that meant going out and mining iron. And for me, I realized that what is that material called? Let's see. Pull up with my receipt book. My brain is frozen right now, and as is the computer here. There we go. Let's see. Smelting. Components. Iron. Copper. Copper was the easiest ore for me to mine and find, and I could take a ton of copper and make one of the most cheapest items I could find recipe-wise, and make a ton of those, which allowed me to grandmaster get my thing open here, which allowed me to grandmaster my blacksmithing. So you're out there running around in the mine, which for me I want to say is graft mine, killing all the stuff there, which is giving you experience here and allowing you to train stuff here. And then as you're mining the stuff, you're also gaining experience in your crafting pool, which you're then strategically applying to where you want. You're not trying to train everything up. You're being very strategic with where you're dumping your minerals and your experience. And for me, I will stay out mining for until I have about 1,000, 2,000 pieces of ore before I'd ever come back to try to convert all that. Which along the way, I'd spend about half that time dumping my experience into the mining trees, because as you can see, I've GM'd all 3 of these here. So I'd spend about half the time in the experience dumping into those, and then I'd hang on just enough of it to come back and build up my smelting, which I didn't build that up far. I built up to 52 and that stopped. I don't need a higher smelting right now. So which means all that experience I'm gaining from converting the copper to the copper ingots is going straight into my pool, which I then apply to my blacksmithing when I'm crafting the stuff. And anyways, so once this blacksmithing was grandmastered, and I did that all from mining copper and then converting it to ingots, and then crafting the cheapest item I could find, which let me see if I can find that recipe real quick. Let's see. And here's another gem. For blacksmithing, the cheapest armor I found to craft, I want to say it was a pair of gloves. And it was a cotton it was these things, epic plate gauntlets. And all you need to do to make those is 2 metal sheets and 3 metal bindings. Well, guess what? Those are also made in the blacksmithing tree. I have those recipes here too. Let's see, not there. Jump back here. So, components. Look at that. Iron ingot. So that's the iron binding. I'm making the copper binding, which is right here. So it needs copper binding. Excuse me. And we need a copper sheet. So those are all recipes under my blacksmithing too. So the act of making the materials needed to build the gloves was also allowing me to scale up my blacksmithing. So making those bindings and the sheets was that adding experience to this, and then when I started making the gloves, it added even more experience. So it was a nice little cool thing going on. So I'm at the point now where I've already grandmastered this, and I've already grandmastered the masterwork, and I'm working on this one here, and I'm also working on. I've already grandmastered the enchantment, and I'm now working on this one. So for this one, I need to basically enchant my armor with the gold ingots. And for this one over here, I need to masterwork my armor. I'm sorry, not that one. This one. I masterwork my armor with the copper ingots. So that brings us to where we're at today, and where I do a lot of my mining, and that's Elysium mines. So I'm going to show you how to get to Elysium mines. A little long-winded there, but we're back on track. So we're at Brittany Central, Brittany Fields, Brittany Gate Estates, and we're going to head south. And don't be afraid to put on your coconuts. It's the only real form of fast travel we have in this game right now, short of a recall, which I recall at home, but I can't recall there. So we'll put on our coconuts, and that'll get us there really quick. Allow us to outrun any bandits and stuff we find on the road. So we head south from Brittany Central. And what we're going to be doing when we get to the Elysium mines is we're going to be mining gold, and we're going to be mining silver. And you can make a ton of money selling either one of those to other players in this game. I am finding gold and silver both run. A lot of people are buying 1,000 of each, 1,000 of like gold or 1,000 of silver for somewhere around 40,000 gold, which it's a nice little chunk of change right there for your time. So whether you want to do it for me like I do, where I'm actually character building and I'm dumping all that gold and silver into my trees, or if you want to just sell it to other players and get rich that way, come into Elysium Mines, and going through what I'm about to show you is perfect. And that skeleton there is on the road. We are going to go around him, and it looks like he saw me, but that's fine. I got the coconuts on, I'm going to outrun him. And it looks like the other player also tried to avoid him, which did. So we go down, across this bridge here. And I must say, I spend a lot of time in Elysium Mines. It's a great place to acquire adventure experience and crafting experience. But it's not a starter location, so we'll explain all that when we get there. So we get down here to the Esseter, and with this little boat out here, ferry to Xenos. We're going to double click on that. Takes us over here. We're on Xenos there. We're not going to go into Xenos. We're going to go up here, hang a left, and we're going to go to the Twins Foothills, which is right up here. Twins Foothills. And there we go. We can enter the foothills here. And what I recommend once you get through to the Twins Foothills is take a moment to pause, collect yourself, and reorientate yourself. And it's a simple run from here to the mine. You don't have to fight anything, even if you're a semi-lower level. Just run straight through. If you have the sprint option, or you have the coconuts, I would highly recommend keeping the coconuts on. They allow you to get around stuff pretty quick. You don't have to fight anything. And we're going to go straight to the mine. As soon as I load in here. Alright, so here we are. And so when I say this is not a noob location, it's a 4 skull. Which, no, it's a 5 skull. So it's not exactly a noob location. So what I would say, I was, when I first came down here, I was having a semi-hard time with 4 skulls. So I was really pushing it hard when I jumped into this mine. But I managed to pull it off, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So it is a 5 skull, a little on the harder side, but it's definitely worth your time if you can get to where you effectively run stuff down here. So when you first come in here, and we're wearing our coconuts, you're going to be able to get through all the stuff with your coconuts on. So we see a fork here, right? We are going to go left. So go left at the first fork. And of course we see this deer, he's not going to attack us. We see a wolf, sometimes they will try to chase us down, but with our coconuts they won't be able to catch us. And we follow this around, and sometimes there are bandits here. We run around the bandits because they won't be able to catch us. Oh look, there's a whole group of them, but we run around them. We're wearing coconuts. They're trying to shoot at me, they're missing me though. And we run around, and right up here, you go to straight ahead, you're going to see an exit. Hang a left here. Go up the hill. And around. Oh look, another wolf. We're going to run right past him. And as we see, come down and around, and there's our mine entrance. And another wolf will run right through here. So there we are, Elysium Mines. So go to Twin Foothills, and then run first left, follow that around until you see another exit, and then hang a left there, up the hill and around, and right into the mine. And at this point, as we are waiting to load in here, I would remind you to don't forget to subscribe. There should be a link in this video. I'm thinking I'm going to put it on the right there. Right? No, this way. I'm going to probably put it in the left corner there, or right corner. And click on that, subscribe, and also there should be a like button. I would really appreciate the thumbs up. Love that. And I really love comments. Any way I can improve these videos, make them better, anything you would like to see, post a comment, and I would really appreciate that. So here we are, we're in the mine, Elysium Mines, And we're going to take off our coconuts now. And you can stand up here on this little top part all day and you won't get attacked. So take a moment to collect yourself, especially if you're not what you call a higher level person and you're wondering if you're going to be able to make this happen. Take a moment to collect yourself. And what I did when I first came in here, I would recommend having at least one skill on your combat deck that's a ranged skill. And I'm going to show you why. And I'm going to add one of my death range skills, which I don't use it a lot because it takes reagents, but for this demonstration we're going to throw it on here. We're going to death ray is a ranged skill, attack skill. So we're going to throw this on here. And of course I have this at Grandmaster, which means I can put five of these over here. Which just gives them a greater chance of popping up. And that should be it. There we go. So we have, like I said, I would recommend having one range skill because it'll be hard to do what I did initially coming here without a ranged combat skill. You basically think when you first come in here, when I first came in here and I was struggling with 4 skulls, there was no way in hell I was taking on 3 or 4 of these kobolds that are up here, which meant I need to separate one from the pack. And that's where the ranged combat skill comes into play, where you want to target him, fire it off, attack him, get him to come towards us, and then separate him from the rest of the guys. And when you first come in here, there's going to be one straight ahead, there's going to be one off to the right here, and one off to the left. And generally speaking, the one that's straight ahead, you can see him right there, is the first one I'll pull to me. So let's turn, I need a light here. There we go. And you can see him walking up there. Usually he was the first one I'd pull to me. Sometimes though, sometimes this guy on the left was closer and I can get him. And then sometimes this guy on the right was closer. But he's not, he's way over there. So yeah, it looks like our best bet is this first guy up here. So, there's my ranged attack right there. This is what I used to do. I'd come in here, double click on him, and you see my little targeting red coal is white. That means that he is out of my range. But if I sneak up here, to get close enough to it turns red. Come on baby, turn red. Actually, this guy, oh, he already saw me. So there we go, we didn't have to shoot him. He saw me, and he's coming to me, and with any luck I did aggro the other two. And now we can take him out at our leisure. And we're only fighting one-on-one, which if you're a lower skill, one-on-one is exactly what you want to do. So there we go. 1 versus 1. And you get good experience for this guy down here too. And this is a skill I'm actually training, so I'm going to activate that. Get some fizzle there. And there we go. So we fought him 1 versus 1. We didn't have to fight the other two. And when I first came in here, these guys are tough. And I was able to take one out at a time, but I wasn't able to take more than that. So then, of course, we want to loot them. And you loot everything. Here's why. When you're going up the blacksmithing tree, and you're making armor and all that stuff, the metal scraps that you get from salvaging the cobalt hammers, you get a lot of those metal scraps, which can really, literally cut the resources that you need and have to manufacture stuff. So, loot everything, salvage everything. Now we're going to come up here, find our second guy. Looks like it's going to be over here. Actually, he's way over there, so we can just duck straight up here and attack this guy. Now, once again, another one-on-one. And at this point in time, once he's dead, we can start with our mining, or we can try to take out that third guy. Keep bear in mind that there's a respawn. It's kind of a faster respawn now than there was when I first started coming in the mine, which is kind of frustrating trying to mine stuff. But whatever. And I keep... Come on, die, buddy. I need to use that. That's the skill I'm training right there. There we go. So of course we loot them. And so far we've only had to do 1 versus 1. So now it's time to start mining. And usually it's usually a chunk of ore right there. If it's not there, be a chunk of ore on either side. One right here. There you can see harvest gold. This first room is gold. The second room is silver, and the third room is silver. So if you are new coming into this mine, stay with the first room, kind of get used to fighting these kobolds, and then mine the ore around the edges. You can make a ton of money selling this ore, this gold, to players for it. Sometimes there's a chunk here, sometimes there's a chunk there. In this case there's not, so we're going to go over here. Sometimes there's a chunk there, there's not this time. And you keep a lookout for any other kobolds. We don't want to fight more than one if we can help it. And this is how I did it when I first came in here. Now, I do it differently now, but I was struggling to stay alive with just 1 versus 1, so, you know, I'd keep an eye out for any other kobolds that would spawn, take them on one at a time, and just work my way around this room. There's some more ore. And we loot and salvage everything because the stuff can be salvaged, or we loot everything because the stuff can be salvaged into metal scraps and wooden scraps, which will literally cut the amount of resources in half that we need to make stuff with the iron agates and the copper agates. So, and a lot of times there's a kobold over here, which there he is, and I always run way up here to fight him because that way I won't get targeted by anybody else. Because there's another guy over there. So we fight him up here. Now we have him to ourselves. Let's zoom back out a little bit. As you can see, my health is not really dipping at all with these guys because I've been doing this for a while, but I'm running with the premise you're new to this mine and you need to fight them one at a time to stay alive, which I had to when I first came into this mine. One at a time to stay alive. There's another hammer. You get a ton of metal scraps out of those hammers, so. And then of course we come back here. Sometimes there's a chunk of ore right there, which I think I already showed you. Of course there's going to be one right here. And there's another kobold around that corner. Now, we first came in, the entrance, and oh, there we go. Remember I say one at a time? One just spawned on us, so we're going to pull him over here. We don't want to fight him more than one at a time, because we're new, remember, we're new. That's where I should have been paying attention, and I would have seen him spawn. That could have got hairy if 2 or 3 had spawned and I didn't pay attention, so. Yeah, that's going to happen. Like I said, the respawn rate I think has gone up with these guys down here. So I'm getting a lot of fizzle here, and that a lot of fizzle is coming from this right skill that I just stacked. Is one I'm training. But I'm actually, it's not a skill I normally use. I use it for only specific instances, but I want to train it up, so I'm using an excess to get it trained up. So we loot again. And we already harvested that, so we harvest this one. There is another kobold around this corner here. So we duck around the corner, and there he is. He's up there. So we're going to go up here, because if anything else respawns, we want to keep him to ourselves, and we don't want to be attacked by anything else. So we take them up to the corner. And remember I said that skill is causing all my shit to fizzle? There you go. But like I said, it's necessary for I'm trying to... Boy, that thing is not wanting to fire. Come on there. There we go. Yeah, that skill is definitely causing my stuff to fizzle, but I need it for a very specific purpose I'm using it for. It increases how much I can carry. So, ooh. I'm trying to get that up so that when I activate it, it'll increase how much I can carry up to a point where I can actually teleport or recall with an excessive amount of weight on me. So that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so we came around the corner, we fought the one Cobalt. He's dead. So we're going to mine this chunk of ore right here. That's gold, of course. And then there's always one here. Well, not always. A lot of times there's one right here. And sometimes the light goes out, so turn it back on. And sometimes there's a chunk here, not in this case. Sometimes there's a chunk there, there's not in this case. Sometimes there's a chunk here, which there is right now. And we always keep a look around us, because we're new. Remember, we're new to this mine. We don't want to fight more than one at a time if we can help it. And make sure, oh, I failed that. Sometimes we fail. There we go. And now, that was the last chunk of, that was the last node before the exit, where we started. So we come up here, and we go to duck out here real quick to collect ourselves, because remember we first came in here, that was our first time running around here. Now we're done. We're ready to do it again. But how much ore did we get for that one circuit? We got 18 chunks of gold. It's not bad. So that's basically what I did when I first came into this mine. I would just do a circle around this first room and kill all the kobolds and mine the stuff. And by killing the kobolds, I was doing several things. One, I was gaining tons of experience for my pool / whatever I was training. I was looting their corpses and getting all of these kobold hammers, which I could then take back and I could salvage into metal scraps. And metal scraps will literally cut down on the amount of ingots needed to craft your blacksmithing stuff, the iron ingots or the copper ingots. It will literally cut those in half. Well, what it does is it cuts in half the amount of ore needed to, well, let's pull open that recipe, shall we? So it's a smelting recipe. Components. No, maybe it's not a component. Smelting, decorations wall, miscellaneous. Let's just do this. There we go. So it's so it's making ingots from scrap, metal scraps. So that's some iron ingot from metal scraps. For each ingot that it produces, it takes 12 metal scraps, and it reduces the iron needed from 4 to 2. So that's a serious resource saver right there. So those metal scraps are very valuable, and they do that with the copper, they do it with the iron, they don't do it with the gold, and they don't do it with the silver. But copper and iron, very valuable. So there you go. That's a quick little run through of the first level of Elysium mines, and that's how I approached it first time solo when I was still relatively new. I was nowhere near the level that I'm at now, and I struggled with just each one of those kobolds I fought going around here. I struggled intensely, but it was a lot of fun. It kept me fully engaged in this game. I was able to I can't talk. I was able to mine a ton of ore, which I could then use to train up the stuff under my crafting area that I wanted to train up. So I hope this was an informative video for you. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and please comment in the comment section. I would greatly appreciate anything you have to say, good feedback or bad feedback. I appreciate it all. And if there's anything that you'd like to see, I think next time I'll give you a walkthrough of the second room of this mine, and possibly the third room as well. And there's a whole different slew of creatures and stuff we can fight in there. So, until next time, you have a great day.